What is up, Nuggets? It's your boy, Killer Pizza, here with a brand new video for you rascals and rapscallions out there. As always, I hope everybody's having a great weekend, watching some spooky movies and whatnot. And before we hop into this video at hand, I just kind of wanted to talk about something for a brief moment. In regards to my video about my experience at Motor City Comic Con, I just want to thank everybody that left a comment and kind of like had my back on everything, because on one hand I felt it was kind of like a first world problem and like, do I have the right to even complain about this? But I just want to make the video to kind of get things off my chest. And the support I had in the comment section, everybody that watches my videos having my back, and it just felt pretty cool, and I just want you guys to know, like, if ever comes down to it, I got your back too. So if someone's messing with you, call me up. I'll come give them a knuckle sandwich or whatever, or a power bomb, I don't know, one or the other. But anyways, with that being said, that's kind of what made the topic for today's video. Some of the greatest celebrities I've ever met at Comic-Cons, because truth be told, that was the only bad experience I ever had at a Comic-Con. I normally have so much fun at these conventions and everything. I just want to kind of talk about some of the better times that I had, which these are just stories about celebrities I've met. If you want to actually see a vlog that I did at Comic-Con, I did one for Astronomicon years back. I was with the Mighty Bojack and my tag partner, Nick Baker. So if you guys ever want to check that out, just search Killer Pizza Astronomicon, you'll find it. I know it didn't get the most views when I posted it, which is fine. I don't really mind. I just wish more people would have watched it because I thought it was really entertaining and fun and just showed the whole experience and everything. But anyways, with that being said, I'm going to talk about some of the coolest, nicest, best celebrities I've ever met. I think I'm going to talk about 5 of them. Every one of these celebrities I've met, for the most part, have been really cool. I've only met a couple assholes, Tom Savini, but these are some of the cooler ones that I've met. So with that being said, let's get right into it. The first celebrity I'm going to talk about, first I got to give some backstory. This was the first time I ever went to Astronomicon, which was the con that I went to 4 times right up the road from my house. We were coming back from a GLWA wrestling show that we all worked. Carload of the boys, we might have allegedly had some road beers or whatever, and having a good time and everything. And we pulled past Burton Manor, which is pretty close to my house, which recently got torn down about 2 or 3 weeks ago, which is a total bummer. And I look over and see all these Ghostbusters cars outside and all these people and people in costumes. I go, Ghostbusters! I shout it out. And my buddy Nick Baker, who's driving, says, yeah, that's the Astronomicon comic convention. Also, take a drink every time I say Comic-Con in this video. But I was like, why did nobody tell me about this? How did I not know about this? I go home that night. I look up all the information. I buy my ticket. I pretty much try to go right to bed so I can wake up early and go. And I was not disappointed at all. The biggest reason that I went, though I met multiple people, was to meet Nick Castle, the original Michael Myers, and that was quite the experience. I was pretty nervous meeting him, and couldn't have been a cooler guy. I talked to him for quite a while, and it's like, very humble person, but he had this like vibe to him where it felt like I was just talking to somebody I knew for years, and he just seemed so appreciative of everything nice I had to say. And we talked a little bit about Halloween. I think he enjoyed when I brought up Escape from New York, which he helped co-write. Because sometimes when you meet these celebrities, I wonder, like, should I ask him the same thing everyone asks, or should I try to think of something a little different? So it seemed like he had fun talking about that. I got my signed 8x10. I got my photo with him. Just an overall great experience, and it's just nice to say that I met Michael Myers. And I heard he has a cat too named Michael Meowers, which is pretty cool. But overall, just a great guy. Great way to set off the day at Astronomicon, which, side note, that was also the first time I ever went to a Comic-Con by myself, which is actually a lot of fun if you've never done it before, because tons of people all around there like-minded to talk to. But anyways, this next one was another meeting at Astronomicon, and we're talking about Trish Stratus. So you could tell in the photo I was very happy to meet Trish Stratus. I waited in line with the Mighty Bojack, and we were both excited. We're like little kids because we both told each other that was both of our childhood crushes, like when it comes to WWF divas and everything. And she was running a little late because of travel issues with the plane or something. So she had this big line all the way around the back of the building and everything. And I remember waiting in line about having to go to the bathroom so I could sneak off to go buy Blu-rays from Severin Video. I felt the need to include that because this is a physical media channel. Thought you guys would appreciate that. But anyways, the coolest part about it was, like, you never know what to expect when you meet these celebrities, and just being so nervous, excuse me, she was so cool and so nice. And she actually stayed after the event ended. They kept the building open longer so everybody could get met. She took her time with every person, talked with every person, didn't just say, hey, here's your photo, next. You know what I mean? So I really appreciated that. And asking me like how I'm doing and everything, you know, which is pretty cool when a celebrity like that, you know, they want to know about you just to be friendly and be, you know, good at conversating and everything. But couldn't have asked for a better experience. You know, I give Bojack a lot of shit because of how nervous he was, how he was acting. But he'll always throw it back to me to this day that when I went to get my photo taken with her, I forgot to hand the guy my phone to take a photo. So we posed and he's like, you never gave me your phone. And I had to pull my phone out and felt like a jackass. But either way, it was a good time. All right, now the last ones I'm going to talk about are all from Motor City Nightmares. So they had most of the original cast of Dawn of the Dead there, besides Flyboy, who passed away, and George Romero also, who passed away, which that's a bummer. I would have loved to meet them, but Ken Foree was really awesome to meet. I remember having a weird experience when I first walked up to him. This was after I met Tom Savini, who was a complete jerk. You know, I was getting everybody to sign my Dawn of the Dead poster, and when I went up to Ken Foree, I was like, okay, you know, maybe this just isn't my day. And this weird photographer came up to him and was like bitching about another worker at the venue or something, and he just kept talking to Ken Foree, and I remember thinking like, yo, asshole, like I'm standing here and like waiting to talk to him, you're kind of taking away from my moment here a little bit. But when I got talking to Ken Foree, he was cool. But when I hit him with this line, I said something along the lines of, was it Texas Chainsaw Massacre Next Generation when he fights Leatherface, the one with Matthew McConaughey in it? I said, you know, it's pretty cool to know that, how does it feel like to know you're the only guy that ever whooped Leatherface's ass? Like something like that. And he just burst into laughter and thought that was the funniest thing. And everyone was laughing around me because, like, if you think about it, he was the only one to, like, really kick his ass. And he stands up out of his seat. He goes, and I would have had him too if he didn't fight dirty. He gets up, takes the photo with me. We talked a little bit more. Just a cool guy. He signed the photo of when he's got the gun with Flyboy saying, you know, don't point a gun at somebody. It's scary, isn't it? And he signed that on my 8x10 and everything. Really, really cool guy. Another giant guy. You know, this guy was huge. All right, let's see. Who else can we talk about here? How about the time I met Kevin Nash when I went to Astronomicon? This was the same day that I met Nick Castle. And I was supposed to meet Scott Hall that day, too. Not supposed to. He was going to be there. But, you know, unfortunately he passed away. You know, right before that, I met Kevin Nash and X-Pac. And Kevin Nash was just a really cool, humble guy, you know, a Michigan legend. Just as cool as he comes off on TV and everything. We talked about wrestling a little bit. Had my Scott Hall shirt on and everything. I talked to him about tag team wrestling. How my tag partner, Nick Baker, is kind of the Kevin Nash and the crew in our tag team. And I'm always the Scott Hall. And just a really cool guy. You know, I like to always ask these wrestlers, like, some questions about the business. I was talking about that. And before I was leaving, I said, you know, what's the most important thing to remember in this business, in your opinion? He said something along the lines of, like, always get paid and don't forget to tuck your chin. So just a cool, laid back, cool guy, man. Kevin Nash, what an awesome guy right there. And then next up, I'm trying to think, because I had some ideas of who I was going to talk about. I'm just going off the top of my head. Felissa Rose at Motor City Nightmares. I've always heard she was one of the nicest people to meet at a Comic-Con, and that's 100% true. Sleepaway Camp is one of my very favorite horror movies, one of my comfort movies. I could watch it almost every day. I had her sign my Sleepaway Camp poster, which is one of the coolest, like, VHS artwork, one of the best, like, movie posters of all time with the knife through the shoe. But like I said, I always heard that she was just really, really cool. And she was so friendly, and she left to do, like, I'm not sure what it was, like a photo op or something, but when she was coming back, she stopped and took a shot of whiskey with Kane Hodder. They laughed and hugged, and I was just like, how cool is that to see? Like, wish I had my phone out to record that. But I waited there. I was like maybe third in line. I was there with my sister, her first Comic-Con too. And she was just so friendly, like just has such like a bubbly, fun personality. And I remember what really meant a lot to me is like, she like just draws her eyes straight to my sister. I was like, yeah, this is, you know, I'm so-and-so. This is my sister. She just watched these movies the first time. She looks at my sister and was like, look at you. You're so beautiful. You're this, you're that. And like my sister got the blush and everything. She pulled my sister in and took a photo with both of us, took a picture with my sister. So my sister got free photo ops just from being there. And we talked to her for quite a while. I can't even tell you what all we talked about. We just talked like we were friends forever. Me, Felissa Rose, and my sister. We just were going on, and just I remember thinking like feeling guilty, like we were holding the line up because we were like the third in line, like I said, and we probably talked for about 15 minutes. But just an amazing person. One of the celebrities that I met that I wouldn't mind meeting again, just for the hell of it. Get a different 8x10 signed, or get a different movie prop signed. There was a young girl too in line with her friend behind us, and they were getting a curling iron signed. So I always thought that was kind of funny. But anyways, that was a great experience. Now this one right here, I can say, is the best experience I ever had meeting a celebrity ever, and that was Scott Reiner, who played in Dawn of the Dead. And when I first seen him earlier, he was a little bit old. He's an older guy. He got wheeled out in a wheelchair to smoke a cigarette, and I almost went up and talked to him, but I'm thinking, this is his time. Let him be. Whatever. They had the panel, and he came up there with the COVID mask on, and in the wheelchair and everything. And I thought, man, it sucks seeing your heroes get like older like this. And it. So when I seen him, man, I walked up and I met him. The table was open. I was with my buddy Cody, the emulator from IWE. And he was kind of like walking with me, hanging out with me at the convention that year, carried my poster and all that. Like when I get stuff signed, I hand it off to him and everything was real cool. When I met Scott Reiner, I got like emotional talking to him because if you guys don't know, I've done many videos about Dawn of the Dead. It's in my top 3 favorite horror movies of all time. Return of the Living Dead, The Thing, and Dawn of the Dead are my 3 favorites. But this movie meant so much to me growing up. I watched it so many times. And I told him pretty much, I'll paraphrase what I told him that day. I said, watching, and I've told this story before, but I'll say it again here. I told him, I grew up watching Dawn of the Dead so many times. It was like a comfort movie for me. We used to always rent movies and everything. I said, I had a good childhood, but when things were bad, they were really bad. You know what I mean? And I always kind of escaped in the video store. That's something I've always done. And I told him, and when I watched you in this movie, I couldn't really relate to Ken, who was like a 6'5" black guy. You were a smaller white dude, and I was a kid, so I always kind of related to you. Like I pictured myself like I was this character in the movie, and I always thought like, if he can be brave, I can be brave. If he can fight, I can fight. And that's like a real story. That's how I really feel about it, and that's how I always watched the movie as a kid. And when I told him that, it looked like his eyes started watering up. And he just looked so appreciative, and this big smile went over his face. Older guy now in the wheelchair and everything. And he told me how much that meant to me. And when I shook his hand, like you could see in the photo we took, like he looks very happy in that photo. Like I could tell that meant so much to him, and it meant a lot to me. And before I left, I'm like, my heart is beating a mile a minute. I just told him, thank you so much for everything you did, all your work, and I shook his hand. And you remember when the Mega Power shook hands, Hulk Hogan and Macho Man? This sounds corny, but I truly believe this. Like when I shook his hand, I swear I felt like energy through him to me. Like I could feel the connection. I know it sounds crazy, but maybe it just meant a lot to both of us, and I could just feel it in the moment. When I walked away, Cody was like, "What the hell just happened?" I was like, "I don't know." Like he noticed it too. That was just like a moment. So like one of the greatest moments of my life meeting him. Like that just meant so much to me, and it was nice to know that I think what I told him meant a lot to him. I was just speaking from the heart, but amazing guy, my favorite I've ever met. All these people I talked about were great. So those are just some stories. I've met a lot of other celebrities. I could talk about the other ones in a future video if you guys would like, because there were a lot of other cool experiences and everything. But these were just some off the top of my head. I think 6 of the celebrities that I met that were really impactful moments, great time to meet and everything. So, yeah, I just wanted to make this after the last Motor City Comic Con video, just to kind of say, like, not every experience is a bad one. And I don't want to scare people off from Comic Cons if you've never been to one from the last video I made. But, yeah, those are just some of the best times I had meeting celebrities. So, they say never meet your heroes, but I say you should. They might be a jerk, but more than likely they're going to be pretty awesome, So these were a bunch of awesome people that I met. But anyways, that's pretty much the video, guys. Like I said, hopefully you're watching some fun movies and whatnot today. Next weekend, I have a big haul video Probably the biggest haul video I've done all year. I probably got 40, 50 titles to talk about. It's going to be pretty crazy. So other than that, like I said, hopefully you're watching some good stuff, having a good weekend, and don't let Monday kick your ass this week. Let's get through it, get to the next weekend. Blood, Guts, Gore. I'll check you guys next time.